I couldn't resist. I really couldn't. Because, see, here's the thing. 4 years ago, we were a year, we were just under a year into the terrible heights of the pandemic. And that hockey season was shortened and had localized divisions. And and there was still no fans in attendance. Well, some of the American teams had a little bit, but Canada, which actually took this seriously as they should, there were no fans in attendance until like about the tail end of the first round. When there's a sports game on with nobody in attendance, certain sounds get amplified. One of those sounds was goal songs, and Montreal's goal song. I first watched the Canadiens home game, and I heard that goal song attentively for the first time. And I loved what I heard. I really did. I became pretty much addicted to it because of that. And well, and the fact and their long run to the Cup final added to it because you hear it more often. With each game. So I really do love that goal song. It's crazy, but let's get to the subject at hand. Sorry, they made it. It was a bit hard, and it took a little longer than it should have, but they have made it to the Deuce says the Sweet 16. And yes, when it comes to Canadians, I have to I have to show off what little French that I do know and have just learned. Here's some more. Félicitations aux Canadiens de Montréal pour avoir atteint la séries éliminatoires de la Coupe Stanley. Congratulations to the Montreal Canadiens for reaching the Stanley Cup Playoffs. The last team to clinch, they got the last spot. That was the only one left. And they needed a point, but they said the hell with it. Why go with when they could go with duh? So they got the win against a Carolina Hurricanes team that was resting a lot of their players because, well, they had nothing much to play for. They were resting up for that series against New Jersey. And so the Canadiens, les Habitants, are part of the Sweet 16, the Douces, and they will face the top-seeded Washington Capitals now. It is a David and Goliath series, but let's not forget the last time these two teams met. It was 15 years ago. Washington, they were the President's Trophy winners, and Montreal was the 8th seed. I think they were like the overall 16 of this whole thing, but somehow they beat the Caps out 7 games and made it all the way to the conference final. The Canadiens lately, ever since then, they've been kind of known for these unexpected long runs. That was one of them. And of course, 2014, they were the only Canadian team to make it to the playoffs that year, and they made it to the conference final. They were 2 wins short of reaching the final. And of course, 21, we all know what happened there. And that was one of the reasons. And it was kind of tough for me. It was kind of tough for me because it was just Montreal and Columbus. It was tough for me deciding who I really wanted to go. Because, Montreal, I still have memories of that run in 21, 4 years ago, when they somehow made it to the Cup final, even though they were kind of expected not to get kind of dominated in the first round, and then they made a run out of it. And I still to this day say we hockey fans needed that because, again, it was still a tough time. We were when the playoffs started, we were barely over a year into this pandemic, and we needed something. We really did. And the Canadiens provided that with that Cinderella run. And it's why I'm big fans of the two players pictured above in that thing, Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki, because they pretty much led it. And they're continuing to kind of lead the team even through the tough years. And this year was not supposed to be like this. I mean, they were supposed to kind of like, because think about it, when the subject came to which team's going to get out of their doldrums, which team's going to get out of their doldrums and finally make it, the Senators were mentioned. They actually did make it, but a lot of people said the Red Wings, they're finally going to do it. They didn't, and they said Buffalo, finally they're going to do it. Hell no. Nobody mentioned the Canadiens, but Somehow they did it. They were next to last place in the entire league in December, and here it is mid-April, and they're going to be part of the Deuces. And so yeah, I was kind of torn between who I wanted to get that last spot. Montreal, because I still have memories of 4 years ago. That was great. And then you had Columbus. We all know what was going on with Columbus, and it is kind of another story. But they have a lot to be proud of, and I just want to add this kudos to Cole Caulfield because before the season started, he changed his jersey number. He had 22, but he wore 13 to honor Johnny Gaudreau. So that was very cool of him to do that. But yeah, so Stanley Cup playoffs all set. We got our 8 matchups, and I can't wait for this. I really can't wait. I'm very excited. So once again, congratulations, felicitations to the Montreal Canadiens. They're in. That's 5 Canadian teams in the playoffs, and both Canadian original 6 teams are in, while none of the American teams are. So we'll see how this goes, but it's going to be a hell of a first round, and I can't wait for it. All starts Saturday, and all the series are set, and I'm going to preview it. And I'm going to preview it between now and Saturday. So that is my video. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe to want more. If you're on TikTok and Instagram, feel free to hit that follow button. And my story about the Canadiens clinch, there's the link. Check it out when you can. And I'll be back before the playoffs start to get you ready for round 1. So stay tuned.